was covering the front of the fortress in blood. The nose peels off above the aircraft, and shrapnel from the cockpit ricochets around the cabin, piercing wing gunner Sergeant Wesley Tucker in the chest.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out the B-17 that flew without a cockpit by Flak Alley. Yes guys, this is probably going to be a double, perhaps even a triple upload kind of day depending how much time I have here. Trying to make up for yesterday not uploading at all. And currently as it stands, the Darwin Award video, spoiler alert, I was checking out some Darwin Award videos. It's currently being held for review by YouTube right now. So we'll see if you see this video first or the Darwin Award video. You'll know how that went. Yeah, if you see this video first, spoiler alert, Darwin Award video inbound. But yes, B-17 that flew without a cockpit. I've never heard of this story. Had this recommended to me. I figure it's a shorter video. Might as well check it out, you know? I got a little bit of time here in between things. So yeah, why not check it out? Don't know what it's going to be about. Don't know if this is going to be perhaps like an early version of a remote control, or maybe the pilot's ejected. It says flew without a cockpit in general, so I don't really know what that's going to entail, but we'll find out here today, guys. If you guys enjoy, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe for more content from me. Of course, leave recommendations down in the comments below. We're going to leave a like. We'll hold off on subscribing until the end. You know, we got to see if we enjoy the channel first. And yeah, without any further delay, captions on, quality 1440p. Like it. Without any further delay, let's get it, guys.
It was the 14th of July, 1944, a thunderous evening. Cruising at 25,000 feet, 24-year-old First Lieutenant Ewald Swanson of the 483rd Bomb Group was pilot of a B-17G flying fortress, nicknamed Mizpah, its tail number 42-32-109. Their mission was to strike at the very heart of the Nazi stronghold in Budapest, Hungary. The formation consisted of 60 flying fortresses, and as they entered Hungary, they were bombarded by relentless curtains of thick flak. Explosions erupted all around Mizpah, shredding the tail section and punching holes into the battle-worn wings. Nonetheless, the B-17 formation presses through the initial flak bombardment and heads inbound towards their main target.
I was gonna say, maybe I was thinking maybe this might be some sort of experimental concept, maybe, but perhaps it's gonna be like some absolutely out there feat that these guys accomplished, because right now it seems like a pretty normal bomber formation so far. 60 planes going to bomb Budapest. Okay, you know, makes sense to me. Nothing said before they left about any extenuating circumstances, nothing like that. So maybe just something absolutely insane happens with this specific B-17. Let's keep watching, guys.
Through the initial flak bombardment and heads inbound towards their main target, the Ferencváros railroad yards. This was one of the most heavily defended and strategically vital targets of the late war, critical for the movement of troops, equipment and oil, keeping the German war machine alive. Now, just seconds away from the target, Bombardier 2nd Lieutenant Kenneth Dudley lines up the Sperry bomb site and successfully releases their bombs. All of a sudden, chaos erupts. A Flak 88 round lands square on the nose of Mizpah. The nose explodes, vaporizing the Bombardier and the navigator, whilst covering the front of the fortress.
Wait a second, I just want to... Confidential. Okay, so is this actually the report from the aircraft? Good that I paused right on this. Aircraft number 42-32-109 received a direct hit in the nose. The nose blew over the cockpit. Wait, sorry. Oh my god, I'm having a stroke. The nose blew over the cockpit of the ship, and I saw 5 chutes leaving the ship. The plane was covered with blood, and the navigator most likely jumped, but his chute was torn pretty bad. I didn't see the ship as it was hit. Interesting.
The Bombardier and the navigator was covering the front of the fortress in blood. The nose peels off above the aircraft, and shrapnel from the cockpit ricochets around the cabin, piercing wing gunner Sergeant Wesley Tucker in the chest. The inside temperature plummets to a freezing -30 degrees. Due to the extreme damage, the center of gravity shifts to the tail, causing the fortress to pitch up into a vertical. They were mere seconds away from stalling out and entering a death spiral. Astonishingly, First Lieutenant Ewald Swanson, despite no longer having a cockpit, regains control of the battered B-17 and re-enters the formation. The crew
How does this happen?
B-17, nicknamed Yvonne, couldn't believe what they were seeing. A blood-soaked B-17 without a nose pulls up alongside them in one of the most haunting sights of the war. Mizpah was strangely flying.
So the flight controls must have still been there, like the flight seat must have still been there, but it's just open, exposed, ripped off. Is that what I'm assuming here has happened? Because otherwise, how the fuck is he controlling that thing? Like, if there's no, like, again, like the flight surfaces, the pilot's obviously still alive, he's still strapped in, he still has access to some of the controls to manipulate that. Like, Jesus Christ, man. What the hell?
In one of the most haunting sights.
I want to pause on that, on this right here. Let's see here. Statement of witness, 403rd. I just like reading these, like actual, if these are real, you know? Flying number 2 position directly opposite my ship, about 2/3 of the way down the bomb run. The nose of 109 peeled up as though something had cut it off. It fell back over the cockpit, the ship nosed up into the air and settled back, as though the pilot had control. Then he went out of my sight. The ship sustained a direct hit. It was observed that 5 good shoots tattered. So guys bailed out. I doubt very much either the navigator or bombardier were alive after the blast. Damn. So guys bailed out.
As if
I don't blame them.
What was happening inside the B-17 was even more impressive. Since there was no cockpit or control column left to maneuver the aircraft, under the screaming command of Pilot Swanson, the crew had begun to fly the aircraft by pulling the exposed control cables by hand. Despite having lost a significant part of the aircraft, this flying fortress and its injured crew refused to go down, a symbol of unwavering courage and indomitable machine spirit. However, over 200 Flak 88 guns still had their sights set on the formation. Suddenly, another explosion rattles the B-17. A flak barrage destroys their number 2 engine as the fortress begins to lose power and airspeed. With the nose blown off and an engine gone, Mizpah and her crew, through sheer determination and will, kept the aircraft airborne. However, the effects of drag from all the damage received was increasing by the second.
Yeah.
Mizpah had fallen far behind the formation by now. For a perilous 10 minutes, the crew battled the control cables to get as far away from the hornet's nest as possible. Now, over Dunavex, Hungary, pilot Ewald Swanson.
And I will say it's fucked because no matter what you do, even if you are able to get out of there, like, you're over enemy controlled Europe right now. Like, there's nowhere for you to land. You got to get all the way back, man. Like, I don't know. I think at this point they probably had holdings in Italy for sure, right? But god damn, like, you know, they that's a far trek, you know. You got to get over all of Yugoslavia at this time, parts of Italy, potentially Germany, out of Hungary, of course.
Now, over
shit, dude.
Hungary,
that's bad.
Pilot Ewald Swanson informs his crew to immediately bail out whilst he held it steady. 7 crew members successfully bail out of the aircraft.
6 shoots seem to go down.
Could no longer tame the crippled fortress on his own. Immediately, the B-17 pitches up, trapping Swanson inside the fuselage. He grabs the parachute and keeps it close to him, waiting for the B-17 to stall out. As the fortress comes to a standstill, Swanson takes the opportunity to jump out of the front, but just as he does, his chute catches the torn metal of the cockpit, ripping through the fabric with brutal force.
Oh.
This was a blessing in disguise, however.
Really?
If the fabric hadn't torn, he would have gone down with the ship, pinned by centrifugal forces. Swanson is violently flung back, narrowly missing the tail section of the B-17. The young pilot momentarily passes out, whilst falling out the sky from 20,000 feet. When he opened his eyes, he was seconds away from hitting the ground.
Jesus Christ.
First Lieutenant Ewald Swanson immediately opens his parachute, but notices that it had sustained significant damage. The chute was not slowing him down enough for a safe landing. The landing was going to be brutal, one that he was unlikely to walk away from or even survive. By sheer luck, on the way down, he spots what he believed to be an enemy POW camp in the middle of a dense forest. Swanson positions himself on top of the trees by the camp, hoping it would break his fall. Several seconds later, he crashes into the dense treetop. First Lieutenant Swanson suffers a broken left leg alongside deep tissue cuts from the tree branches. Against all odds, he survives the landing. The German medics of the POW camp quickly spot Swanson's body in the brush and recover him. They administer life-saving first aid to the young pilot, who has at this point stared death in the face and kept going. In fact, to his amazement, he finds out that the entire crew of his B-17 had survived. His crew were captured nearby, only to meet up at the same camp their pilot had somehow ended up at. A happy accident, as they put it. The crew would endure 9 long months through the harsh cold winter at the POW camp. On the 30th of April 1945, US troops would liberate the crew of Mizpah. The war for these young men had finally come to an end. The 8 survivors would return home to the USA that night. Ewald Swanson's bravery that day would earn him the prestigious rank of Lieutenant Colonel before his retirement from the United States Air Force. After the war, he returned to a quieter life, marrying his beloved Catherine Swanson and raising a son together at Michigan, USA. Yet, it was the bond with his B-17 crewmates that remained closest to his heart. In the decades that followed, they would often reunite, old warriors with withered hands and bright eyes, sharing stories of impossible missions and the unbreakable brotherhood they forged when they were barely more than kids. Swanson would pass away peacefully on the 28th of February 2009 at the age of 89,
wow.
Remembered not only as a war
Good for him, man.
but as the only known pilot to have ever flown an aircraft without a cockpit. Only Mizpah and the men who dared to ride her into hell and back could ever truly understand what that meant.
The whereabouts of their beloved B-17 is unknown. The remains of her crew are yet to be found. Wow. So the navigator, bombardier, they're both dead. Obviously, they both died instantly. And the remains of the aircraft have never been found. That's kind of crazy. I wonder how much remains or wreckage of the aircraft really survived landing is my only thoughts. You know, damn. Sacrifice deserves to be remembered. How many learn of it depends on you. Honor them by leaving a like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, of course.
Only 4.2% of the viewers watching this video are subscribed.
I feel that.
It takes countless weeks to write and produce these videos, but it takes just a second of your time to click that subscribe button. It's completely free, but helps us out immensely in bringing this content to you. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.
I know, I'd say the exact same thing, you know, guys. We're at, like, you know, it's actually a shocking amount. I'd say it's like probably 30% of our channel is subscribed. Of my viewership is subscribed. The rest of you guys not subscribed, you know. So yeah, same thing. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys subscribe for more. That was a great video, and I have to say too, maybe he didn't have flight controls in there. It's very, very hard to picture how you would ever manipulate an aircraft without a cockpit, without steering controls like that. I know cables and whatnot, but geez, man, like it's very hard for me to picture. And how he survived the initial blast, the pilot survived the initial blast, that's also very, very hard for me to picture, just how that looked, you know what I mean? And I guess for everybody, right? It's not like we have unfortunately you know, a lot of footage of that, I'm sure, happening and exactly what went down that day. But holy shit, what a great story, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe for more content. Of course, leave recommendations down in the comments below. Big thank you to all of our members, all of our Hastati, our Triarii, our Principe, Dagenhart, of course, our Praefectus, Fear and Hobbit. I appreciate you guys. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day. And with that, guys, this has been Centurion. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.